How's it, guys? Welcome to the channel. I've got a few crypto updates for you guys. There's a lot to go over, and if you're new here, welcome. Happy to be here. It is a Friday. Sorry about the delay, and let's get straight into it. So there's a lot of news that's happening within December. There's a lot of news that I want to go over, and this month is very big because it seems like the Feds are actually tightening their inflation rates, and this is obviously bullish for the dollar. So let's get straight into it. So basically, what I want to go over, we have the FOMC meeting, we have core CPI happening, and actually currently today we have our PPI. Okay, so our PPI basically tells us what the Fed is doing in terms of inflation, and if this is greater than the forecast, then this is bullish for the dollar and bearish for crypto. So at 3:30 today, we need to watch out for this number because this is very important. And obviously, trading during these times, I say this to a lot of people: you never want to be trading within these events because it just there's a lot of volatility, and also with the New York session around the corner, you don't want to be trading during these times. So next week we have very, very important news that is happening. So our CPI, so this is our inflation data, is going to come out next week, and obviously if the actual percentage is greater than the forecast, then we are going to be in a very bad storm for crypto. So we just need to watch out for that. But I do have some news after I'll go through this that might indicate that we are slowing down on our interest rates, inflation rates, sorry. And then after that, on the 14th of December, we have the FOMC meeting. So this is also it's when the Fed start to speak about tightening the rates, and that's the day after. So there'll be a lot of volatility within there because people say things within that environment, and it creates the market to actually become very volatile. So looking at this chart here, so this is for the 14th of December, so when the FOMC meeting is happening. You can see that there's an 80% chance of them actually lowering the inflation rate, or 79.4 chance, okay? So this is actually very bullish for crypto because obviously this year there's been a massive increase in inflation across the globe, and when they say this, it does give us a little bit of hope for the next coming years, and 80% chance is a very big chance for us to actually lower the inflation rate. So next week's going to be very, very volatile, and as well as for today, it's going to be volatile. So we just need to watch out for that. And yeah, so I also want to go through the fear and greed index. So this index over here, it shows us what is happening in the markets, how much fear is in the markets, and how much greed. So when it's at zero, it's at extreme fear, and a lot of people are withdrawing their money and not getting into the market. And when there is extreme greed, when it's at 100, then it means that there's a lot more people in the market and they're more greedy. So hence fear and hence greed. So you can see that now from yesterday, we had that big push up. So if you look on the chart here, we had that massive push up. I'm going to go over the chart later, but yeah, we are climbing these ranks, and there are certain levels that I'm going to show just now that indicates we might be getting a push up before a push down. We just need to close certain levels, and I'll be going over that just now. Then looking at some other stats that I want to go over. So you can see here, obviously with the whole FTX crash, I know most of you guys know about it. It's very, very hectic what's happening in the market, and you can see that Bitcoin, the daily on-chain exchange flow, so there was a net loss of people, so people withdrawing their money from exchanges to their cold storages, so 89.1 million. But this is actually very bullish because these are long-term holders, so people will want to get involved for long-term. They put their money into cold storages and just let their money accumulate over time. So this is very bullish. And you can see with ETH, it's actually very interesting that there's been a net increase. So there's a lot more people buying ETH on exchanges. So, and then obviously once they buy it on an exchange, they withdraw it back to their cold storage. So the accumulation of Bitcoin and crypto and Ethereum and everything else is actually increasing. and it just shows how strong the market is within these times. And then with USDT, you can see that there was a net inflow of 89.7 million. So this is very interesting because there's a lot of countries that are suffering from hyperinflation. So Turkey is one of them. They don't, their money is actually deteriorating because of the inflation rate. And what's happening is they're converting all their money to USDT and stablecoins because they want to preserve their money. And what's actually happening, they're able to spend their money on exchanges within USDT and stablecoins and buy goods. So they're using crypto and stablecoins as a preservation of their wealth, as they don't want their wealth to weaken over time because of what the inflation is actually happening. So this is very good to see, and obviously it is bullish because the long terms we are bullish. Let me go over. So this chart here just shows us the Bitcoin returns from 2010 to 2022, and you can see that it's a clear cycle. So what's happening is we had that initial increase, so you can kind of just count out that year, and then we had 3 years of bullishness, so green years, and then we had that minus 58%, and then after that we had another 3 years of increase. And then at 2018, we had that minus 73%. I remember that year was very, very dark. And then we had 3 years of increase, and now we're having that cycle of minus 64%. So it's very interesting to see this, and what is actually happening at this year. It's because of the inflation rate. So this whole year, the whole world has been suffering from all this inflation, and the Fed tightening the rates, even interest rates. So this year is definitely going to be one for the books, and obviously FTX, Gemini, Luna, Celsius, all these crypto crashes are having a knock-on effect to what's happening in the crypto crash. So I mean, this is just a nice chart to see. So if this is true, we might have another 3 years of green. So I do say, accumulate within these dark times. If you accumulated in 2018, you would, look where you are now. If you accumulated in 2014, look where you are now. So accumulating when it's red is more better than accumulating when we're at the all-time high. It just makes sense, but a lot of people do get scared, obviously, and it is worrying because for a lot of people that don't understand crypto. But the thing is, if you understand the fundamentals of crypto, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and all these different assets, then you're set to go. So I mean, you just have to do your own research and make sure that you understand what you're investing in, and how long you want to be involved in some type of asset. And so you can just see that the cycle is very nice to look at. So it looks like this year might be the last red year before we get those 3 green years. And also, obviously, what's been happening in China, we had the whole COVID, that obviously had the crash to crypto as well. So they're having a downgrade to category B. So they were at category A, where basically all the employees that were in the crypto market, all the employees that were, making the supply chain work, getting all these goods ready for, exports and imports, they actually were on lockdown. So obviously that makes the supply chain more expensive. So people that are exporting from other countries, from China, would have to pay more, and that obviously plays a massive role to inflation and the cost of goods rising and all of that. So this is very bullish, and they're going back to category B. So that means that employees will be able to start working more. The cost of goods will decrease, and we might get back to that economic state that we were at last year. So this is starting in January 2023, and I think this will be a good start to the year. And also, so this is very interesting to look at. So fund managers, they always have a 60-40 split in their portfolio. Okay, so they have 60% in equities and stocks, and then 40% in bonds. Okay, and you can see over here what's happening. This has been the worst year in 100 years. So in 100 years, this year, if you're holding equities and 60% in equities and 40% in bonds, you are having the worst year in 100 years. And that just goes without saying. Same with crypto. This has been one of the worst years, but it's not just crypto, it's the whole market getting affected. So a lot of people look at crypto being one of those, crypto, it's gone down so much. But if you look at equities and bonds, it's done the exact same thing. So it's just a nice way to look at it. It's not just crypto that is crashing; it's the whole economic, environment. The inflation rate has played a massive role in today's and this year's equities and bonds and crypto. So that's kind of what's been happening in the news. So the big news that we need to watch out for is definitely, the FOMC meeting and the CPI news. And then also what's happening with Elon Musk. So Elon Musk is basically, so what's happening with Elon Musk, he's obviously took the acquisition of Twitter, and he is giving altcoins and crypto as a payment mechanism to Twitter. So he kind of wants to make it like WeChat. So he says over here, WeChat has a lot of functionality that Twitter should have. It's kind of a no-brainer for Twitter to have payments, both fiat and crypto. And when he said that, sorry about that. So when he said that, the market actually reacted significantly. So when looking at Dogecoin over here, it was actually over here. So I'm just going to go on the 4-hour chart. You can see over here that Dogecoin, when he said that, Dogecoin went up 8%. And obviously it might not be Dogecoin. There's talks that it might be XRP and a few other altcoins. But when he says something like this, it obviously affects the crypto market cap a lot. And there's a lot of situations where he has done that this year, especially with Dogecoin. And you can see that we've had that massive bounce around 8% on the date that he said it. So it's quite, it's very good for Twitter and obviously the crypto scene, because he's pushing, the whole market side of it, and it's definitely bullish in the long term. So yeah, that's pretty much all the news that I've got today. There's a lot of charts I want to go over, and yeah, let's get straight into the charting. So with Bitcoin, you can see that in the last live stream, I was actually speaking about this chart over here. So you can see with this chart here, we have this support line over here, and every time we've come down to the support line, what has happened? We have actually, we've retested it, and at the moment we are retesting that support line, and we kind of bounced off it. So my last live stream, I said that there was a chance of us breaking below this zone. So I said that we might come down to this 12,000 zone only if we break this level over here. So if we broke this level, then we would come down to this 12,000 level and get a reaction and come back up. But at the moment, we are holding this zone. And what I think that's going to happen is, if price comes up to this 21,000 level and we hold above this previous high over here, then we can become bullish again. The thing is, we have to close above this high in order for us to be bullish. If we don't close above this high, then we definitely can come down to further lower targets. So this is just, so obviously we have to break that 21,000 mark. And if we break it, then I do think that we might get that push up. So on the long-term time frame, we can see that, this 12,000 is a significant support and resistance. You can see in the previous years, so in 2017, we've held this level. In 2018, we hold this level. 2019, we hold this level. And then 2020, we actually hold it, and then we broke through. And that was obviously the start of that bull run. So this is definitely one level to look at, and it is a level that we can't ignore. And I would only ignore this level if we break this level over here, because when looking at charting, it's simple in a way. You have to make sure you're breaking your highs and your lows in order for you to be bullish or bearish. So we have to break this higher in order for us to go up. Otherwise, we won't be able to. And then also looking on a a higher time frame, so the weekly, you can see that we have this bullish divergence. So you can see here on the RSI, prices actually increasing on the RSI, so our momentum is increasing, whilst on the charts we are actually losing steam. So that's an indication of bullish divergence, and you can see we actually got that relief rally from there. So I mean, if you caught that bounce from that bullish divergence that was hit, we would have been up around 11% or so. So this could be the start of this pump. We don't know for sure. And also looking back over here, you can see that we had this bearish divergence over here from the all-time high in 2021 to the all-time high in the end of 2021, and you can see that the RSI was losing steam, so we were forming these lower highs, and that's obviously what led us to that decrease. So if this had to happen, because we've never had a bullish divergence in history of Bitcoin on the weekly chart, so this is very new, and this could obviously lead us to another push up to this level, but we have to close above this high, this 21,000 zone, for us to be bullish again. So that's on a higher time frame for Bitcoin, and then I want to go over the USD dominance chart. Okay, so when looking at the USD dominance, so I'm going to go on the 4 hour, because what I've been looking at here, so you can see what happens when the USD dominance goes up, crypto tends to decrease because it's inversely proportional, right? So you can see here on the 9th of November, okay, the 9th of November, we had a 30% increase in the USD dominance, right? And when looking at the Bitcoin chart, what happened there? If you look at the 9th of November, we had so the 7th to the 9th, we had that 23% decrease. So we can't ignore the USD dominance. We have to make sure, because it's inversely proportional, we have to graph it, we have to look at certain levels. And obviously at the moment we had that pump on Bitcoin yesterday and the whole markets, and that was because the USD dominance actually fell 2.5%. So if the USD dominance loses this key level over here, this level over here, then I will remain bullish in the short term for Bitcoin, and we might get that 21,000. And you can see that this level is a level that we can't ignore. There's a lot of resistance over here and support over here. And going back, yeah, you can see how much resistance is actually over at here at this point. So we will definitely get a bounce over here, but we need to make sure we hold this level. If the USD dominance holds this level, then it will be not good for Bitcoin. But if it closes below here, then it does look like Bitcoin might get that rally. So yeah, I mean, at the moment we did get that nice bounce from yesterday. I'm going to go over a few more charts. So let's go on Bitcoin on the lower time frame. So you can see here. So this is Bitcoin on the daily. Okay, so this is our daily charting. Okay, so basically what we have over here, we have these levels getting respected. So our support level over here, and whenever we come down to this line, we tend to go up, right? So at the moment we are currently getting that, and our next level to look at would be this level over here. And I'll draw that out better for you just so you can see it. So over here, this level. So what I'm looking for here, we need to break above this zone here, the 17,600 zone, and we might come back up to this zone over here. You can see that it's a significant support slash resistance over here. So this zone needs to be broken in order for us to go up to that 21,000, and this is the zone I was talking about earlier. We have to break above this zone in order for us to be bullish again. And I do think that we can get there. Obviously with China, like I said earlier, going down to category B, and then the Fed speaking next week, lowering the inflation rate. There's a lot of signs that we might get that catalyst that could increase us to certain levels. So Bitcoin at the moment is looking quite nice. And then going on a smaller time frame, so on the 4 hour, you can see that we're in this rising wedge formation, okay? So when looking at this chart here, we basically had this level here respected 3 times, right? And also at the top here, we had this level here. So we're in this clear uptrend, right? And at the moment, we are currently on this 1 hour resistance zone. And what I've said on the graph here, I said we need to break this high in order for us to be, going back to this 18,000 level, because that's our next zone that we want to look at. You can see over here, this is the zone that we need to look at in order for us to get there. And, I do think that we might get to this level. We need a strong breakthrough this high over here at the 17,400 level. And we need to break that high in order for us to come up to that zone. So, I mean, Bitcoin's looking very good. We got that nice rally from yesterday. That was a good, 2.5%. And Bitcoin is looking good for a nice leg up. But if we don't hold this 1 hour resistance, then we can come back down to this support zone over here at around about 16,900 or 17,000. So what I'm looking for here for Bitcoin, I got a long yesterday, but what I would want to see a break of these highs, and then I would be able to go bullish again. So I want to see price to close above here, and then we can see price coming up to here. And what I would wait for, I would go long only if we get a closure above here. So what I mean, I want a candle to close above here on the 4 hour, and then wait for a retest. So I want price to come down back to the zone, and then go in for a long up to around 18,000 level. That would be ideal. And I do think that we might be able to see this in the next couple hours or within the weekend. The weekends are normally slow, but next week is a massive catalyst. So within the next week, we might be able to get to these levels if the data is strong. And then looking at Ethereum, so I was looking at this chart. So we at a crucial level at the moment. So Ethereum is very, very crucial. So you see, we had this push up over here. So we in this uptrend, okay? So what needs to happen now? We need to break these highs over here. So you can see we have this triple top. So we had 1 over here at the resistance zone, 2, 3. So that's indication of price to go lower. And what happened? We got that lower price. So what we need to see? We need to see a break of this channel at the top here. And if we break that channel, then we can see a further retest over here, and then we can look for longs up to certain other levels. And the next level we would long up to would be around about this zone over here. Let me draw it out. So this zone over here, this would be the next zone to look at. So ETH is definitely going to be looking for longs if we break this zone. So I would wait for a candle closure above here, and then we can look for that, something like that. But we need to wait for the candle to close above here in order for us to go long. So looks like a very good trading setup. And then alternatively, we could see a price come and hit this resistance zone today or within the next week, and then we could look for shorts back down to the 1237 zone. So at the moment, it's looking good for longs. We just need to break this zone here, and if we break this 13,000 zone, then I'm looking for longs 100% back up to this level, and that's a good level. It's around about a 6.5% gain, so that would be an ideal scenario. And then looking at Matic, there's a few coins that I wanted to go over here. So Matic, I've got this drawn out on the chart here. So this is what I've been looking at. So you can see that Matic, we've been in this this uptrend as well. So when drawing this, you can see that we are creating higher highs and higher lows. So we had this low over here. We created a high, another higher low, higher high over here, and now we formed that higher low over here. So what I'm waiting for now is for price to come back down to this zone over here. So you can see there's a lot of reaction that is happening at this zone. So I'm waiting for some type of confirmation that we're going to come back to this zone over here at the 0.19150 zone, and you can see that there's a lot of rejections happening there. So we got that clean break, but I do think that we might get a little retracement. Then I'm going to go long back up to the 0.945 zone, and I do think that this could be a very good setup to look at. And obviously my stop loss would be below the previous candle wick on the 4 hour, and you just ride that out. I mean, it's a risk to reward of 1:3.47, so it is quite decent, and I do think that this could play out definitely. So that's Matic. Yeah, I mean, Matic's looking good for longs. And then also looking at XRP. So XRP is looking very, very interesting at the moment. We are currently sitting at a very crucial level. So this level over here is a valid resistance zone and a support zone over here. And now we're finding the support. So I'm also waiting for a long for XRP, because I want this trend line to be broken. So you can see over here that we're finding resistance at the zone, right? So I would like for price to increase over here, come up, break the zone here, look for retest, and look for longs back up to the 0.4068 level. And that's kind of what I'm looking for at the moment. And then, you know, this could definitely happen within the next couple of days. So this is definitely on one of my alerts. So I'll wait for a candle closure above here, break this high, and then come down a bit, look for a retest back up to this zone. Yeah, so XRP is looking good. I mean, my entry would probably be at around over here, back up to this zone. Stop loss would be below this previous candle over here, and looking for, you know, that little push up. And I do think that if we break this zone, then we can come up, but obviously at the moment we are losing steam, and if we lose a support zone over here, then we can come back down. So then obviously my trade would be invalid, but this is the kind of scenario I'm looking at, and it could play out definitely. And then also looking at Chainlink. So with Chainlink, you can see that we also in this uptrend, we actually didn't break these lows. So you see we started to form this type of uptrend wave, and we currently need to break this high in order for us to come up to higher targets that we were at around the 9th of November, and that's obviously when the USD dominance shot down. And you can see we got this bounce off the zone here, but we didn't create a lower low. So that's obviously indication that we're still in this uptrend. So I'd want to see another retest of the zone for me to go long and get like a bounce off here. But if not, then I'll have to wait for further price movements back up to this zone at the top. But yeah, Links does look like it's also looking good for longs. And at the moment, I'm not in a trade with Link, but it does look very good for longs. And then I wanted to look at the dollar index. When looking at a higher time frame, you can see that I'll go on the daily chart because this is very, very important to look at. So I spoke about this in my last live stream. You can see that we had this, so I'm going to highlight these points here. So from the July of 2021, we had this parabolic curve that was coming up all the way to the 114 level, and you can see over here how many times we've retested the zone. And basically what has happened now, we've lost that zone. We're in this descending channel, we've lost that channel, and now that the dollar is actually coming back down to the 101 level. And I do think that if we come back down to here, Bitcoin and all the cryptos could see that rally. But obviously because of the whole FTX crash and everything that's happening in the market, you know, the dollar hasn't really been in line with crypto, because normally crypto, if crypto increased, the dollar would decrease. So at the moment we're not really getting that, but obviously next week with the FOMC meeting and the CPI data coming out, we can, you know, get that catalyst back up and start to be back to normal. And then also with China reducing their lockdown restrictions could definitely help with that, because obviously the supply chain is just too expensive at the moment. Yeah, that's pretty much all the charts I want to go through now. If you guys have any questions, or you know, if you want me to go through any charts, just put it in the chat. And yeah, that's pretty much all my thoughts on today. But yeah, let me know if you guys have any charts you want to go through, because there are a lot of, we are in this little uptrend now, and we might see some higher targets at the moment, especially with Bitcoin and ETH. So yeah, let me know if there's anything you want to go through. But yeah, I mean, looking at the US 100, I can also look at that. You see the US 100's actually been climbing today, so obviously with Bitcoin it follows that as well. And we are in this uptrend for the US 100. We have been creating these higher levels. Over here we had this low, this high here, another low here, and this high here. We did actually break this low here, so there could be more downside, but obviously we need to make sure that we break this further down in order for us to be bearish again. But yeah, I mean, any charts you want me to go over, I can definitely do that. Yeah, thanks so much for listening, guys, and make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. We also have a lot of educational videos in the channel if you want to learn how to trade. And yeah, there's a lot of educational stuff that resources that you can find there that are very helpful with trading. So yeah. But yeah, I mean, if there's nothing else that you guys want to go over, if I've just make sure you like and subscribe. I've said that again. And thanks so much for listening. I really enjoy coming back here on Fridays. And yeah, have a great weekend. Just remember, next week's very important. We have those massive news coming out. So, and also today at 3:30 my time, South African time. Don't be trading don't trade within this time. It's very important not to trade because you can risk your account, but just make sure you know your direction. Yeah, thanks so much for listening, guys. I really enjoyed it. And yeah, see you guys next week, Friday.